It is time to ignite those dreams of our young people and empower the youth to bring their visions to life. Now, we are partnering with the After School Graduate Development Center on the Ignite Enterprise project to provide practical tools to teach young people how to build businesses and to create employment for others. In Lagos, the possibilities are endless. Èkó ò ní bàjẹ́ o.
Lagos State, in partnership with AGDC, presents Ignite, powered by First Bank and supported by Bank of Industry.
As part of this project, we've decided that at different times, we'll look for Nigerians who have, in their own way, made a landmark in their own area of business endeavors. I call it the Inspire Me moment. Today, I have a young woman that I love and I admire very much. She can readily be classified as a forerunner and someone who boldly transformed a whole new area, an area that as a country we were not known for. She created an opportunity for a lot of young people to find an expression and a business that added a lot of value to them in terms of their finances, but also change the lives of many women. I can honestly say she's at the top of her game. She's a smart, dynamic, brilliant. I'd like you to put your hands together as you welcome Tara Fela-Durotoye. Thank you.
In the growth stage, to realize that it's not enough to have a skill, but it's important that you have structure within the organization to carry your skill and to help you to be sustained. I went to a training program organized by Leap Africa, and it was a business leaders program for 5 days where we had to come up with our vision, we had to come up with our mission, we had to come up with our mission statement. They talked about the importance of human resource within our organizations, the importance of legacy succession planning. How do you ensure that as you're building your business, you're building it in a way that's sustainable, long-term, and to move from generation to generation. New studies of Nigerian companies who have outlived their founders. That, for me, was a life changer, and it automatically changed the face of House of Tara after I came back from that training. I felt that I was the most important person in the business. It's my business, I started it. I am the makeup artist, I was the cleaner, I was the accountant. And so I was the first and last. So anybody who didn't want to work show, get lost. But the minute you have to send someone to go and do a makeup job in Omole, and you want to send somebody to go and do a makeup job in Kano, you begin to realize that really, the business is not all about you, but it's about caring for people. And them knowing that you care about them enough for them to be willing to take your name and carry it somewhere. As we grew, we were able to put our money where our mouth was. So I got to the bank and I said, you know what, I have my money in my stock. I believe in my business and that's why I've invested in it. I was able to tell them what my gross profit margins were. I was able to tell them, give them a cash flow, not because I just had it figured out, but because I understood where my business growth was coming from. I knew where the revenue, in which business units the profits were going to increase. I could project these things because I had stayed consistent in building the business. And so when I was sharing the story with the MD of the bank at that time, it was not only inspirational to tell a story of how I started with one box, but also how with that one box, he could see this volume coming into his bank, but he could also see the volume in terms of stock. And so with that story shared with this MD, he was able to say, you know what, this is the kind of story our bank would like to be a part of. And that was the first time we got our first funding from the bank. But with that funding, we were audacious enough to begin to expand. So the question then was, what platforms would we begin to use to engage this new generation? And I know that technology, they are the Twitter generation, they are the BB generation, they are the online generation. So as a business, we've set up a department, and that is, we have a totally new e-business strategy to support this new generation. I'll say to every young entrepreneur out there, find yourself. Find yourself as you go along, you find yourself. Yes, you get mentors who mentor you, but find yourself.
Ignite, from dreams to reality. From the great city of Lagos, it's another inspiring episode of Ignite. Practical business advice taking you from dreams to reality. Ignite, from dreams to reality.
Tara, of the house of Tara. Can you imagine the confidence? The product is called Tara. The business is called House of Tara. And the entrepreneur is called Tara. So tell us the Tara story.
Well, it's nice to see young people seated to hear my story. I think it's something that hopefully would inspire you today. I started obviously as a university undergraduate while I was in Lagos State University studying law. I had worked in a perfume store when I was about 16, 17. And during that period, just before JAMB, in between JAMB and going to university, and it was the first time I began to explore cosmetics and the power of makeup and saw how women responded to it. I went to university planning to become a lawyer because I have a long line of lawyers, senior advocates of Nigeria in my family. So it just also made sense. But I got interested in this, and I got the opportunity also to start it as a business. But I'm excited not just because of where we started from, but it's where we've come. And the amount of people that we've empowered as a result of the business. And I'm very proud to see the number of makeup artists. So for every 10 makeup artists you see out there, about 8.5 of them, confidently I can say, came from House of Tara Makeup School.
So were there makeup artists or makeup lines with Nigerian brand before you started?
There was a makeup artist that I remember. But he was more someone who was in the modeling agency, and they needed makeup to be done, so he used to assist in doing so, but not as a profession, and not to the extent that you can audaciously say, I want to charge you X amount of money because I painted your face.
Okay, so what gave you the confidence to think that something that didn't exist in our environment was going to be viable for you as a business?
I saw how women reacted to the products. I saw the way women reacted. So, for example,
to which product?
To the product, meaning the service.
Okay.
So, a customer walks into the shop floor, for example. I do their makeup. I see how they react when they look at themselves in the mirror. They've been probably doing their makeup themselves all these years, but there's a difference in the technique. And from that technique, you can see their faces light up. And I looked at that and I think to myself, I think you should be able to pay me for that excitement that you get. So it's not just the skill, it's also the way it makes you feel.
Okay.
And when I had the opportunity to charge someone, the person was willing to even pay more than that. Okay. So automatically...
So the pricing issue?
Yes. Automatically for me, it made it easier to then enter and start it up as a business. Today, I mean, it's no longer just a service. Obviously, the business has grown beyond that. We have 12 branches. We have a branch in Kano. We have a branch in Kaduna, Ilorin, Benin, Port Harcourt, several branches across Lagos, Ibadan. And we're employing more people, but it's not just the people that we're employing, it's also the ladies who go out there to market our product. And now they have the opportunity to be developed with the Tara line, earn an income for themselves, become financially independent, and many of them also learning skills, life skills. How to talk to people, how to become confident, how to have self-esteem, how to grow in your ability to market, because it's not just you becoming a Tara rep, it's also the development that goes through the season when you're a Tara rep, through our workshops. And for me, that is what makes me excited about the Tara story.
Now, let's take our learnings. One, a business that didn't quite exist before, and a product line that we typically were not known for. And the House of Tara has 2 products right now. What I mean by that is the service itself, in terms of making people up, and the selling of the makeup products that are branded as Tara's. Now, one thing I'd like you to share, how do you produce your products?
We do what you call contract manufacturing. We do not have our own factories to produce our own line.
Take note.
Why? People always ask me, I thought you produce in Nigeria because because you're promoting the Nigerian culture through the names of our products. So a lot of our products are named after indigenous words.
Like Orekelewa.
So Orekelewa, you have Adumadon, you have Fura, you have Oja, you have Okweke, you have, we always use Kasua, which is market in Hausa. So we pick different words from different parts of the country. So people expect that because it's a Nigerian product, automatically we should have a factory here in Nigeria. But as we all know, there are a lot of issues in terms of infrastructure that would prevent me from building my own factory at this time. And I'm still very young. I want to enjoy my life. I think that having a factory today may be a very difficult challenge for us to be able to overcome. And I think our business will get there where we will have the capacity to be able to build a factory and produce. But at this time, I don't think it is necessary because we can outsource, we can contract our manufacturing to companies that have the competence to do so, who already have existing factories for that purpose. The most important thing for me is to know my market, to know you, the ladies who have been doing makeup for over these years, and know what it is that we're missing out from other products. That knowledge is what I need to communicate to my manufacturers so that they can produce for me.
Okay, hold it there. Now, let me tell you why that question I asked her is very important. Because remember what I said at the beginning. There's certain rules here. I don't want to hear there is no power, there is no infrastructure. I don't want to hear any of the woes about Nigeria. What we've agreed is we need to create jobs, we need to develop our country, and we will do it despite the challenges that we have. So the only way I need you thinking is how, not because of. I don't want to hear the because of. Is how, despite. And good information for you is this. Most of the global brands that you know is the reason why you buy a major designer brand in the UK or in America, and you say, Liz Claiborne, made in China, made in Mongolia, Vietnam, made in Taiwan. And then you will make the mistake of thinking that when you get to China, you will find it. You will not. Simple reason is wherever Madame Liz Claiborne is, and wherever she is located, US, UK, wherever, what is her business? Fashion. What does she focus on? Designing the line, building the brand, choosing the material, specifying the accessories, and how it is finished. Globally, there is something called OEM. That's contract manufacturing in simple terms. There are factories in certain parts of the world, almost anywhere, who have all the infrastructure in place. They do not have a product that they sell. They do not have anything they want to sell to the end user. What they're selling is the facility production hours of their factories. For us as a nation, with a lot of challenges with power and infrastructure, part of where we need to be moving to is thinking of the value add part of production. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which means that without the issue of, I don't have money to set up the factory. You don't own the factory, you don't need the money. Do you understand? And what Tara has built her brand on is using an international model that has existed for many years and is the reason that many major brands you know in the world are successful. Most of them stay in the part of the value chain that they have the most competence. And they transfer the rest of the issues to other people who have built competencies in those areas. We generally think we need to do everything, and that's part of our problem. But we're a new generation. We want to compete globally. We want to use global practices to build our nation and create a new generation of entrepreneurs who know how to play like the rest of the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which means that your ideas can be implemented faster. Tara doesn't need a factory. Do you know what it costs to set up a factory making different types of makeup? Do you know the many skills that you need? Manpower and everything. all the knowledge base and the experience, which is missing here because we traditionally have not been involved in cosmetic production.
You're talking about competence.
Yes, I'm talking about competences.
And she said competence. They focused on their competence. And I was just getting to my competence. I was saying, I have been working as a makeup artist, doing makeup for Nigerian women. What is my competence? Knowing the Nigerian woman and what suits her, correct? What is my competence? I want to promote the Nigerian brand. I understand Nigerian culture. I understand the diversity in terms of our culture, our language. I understand that. I can use that to create the value chain. So at the end of the day, Tara products may not be sold in China because it's not necessary to be sold in China. It is being sold in Nigeria, produced in China, but with we're using my competencies that I have focused on rather than being distracted by actually going into production. So I would say as a makeup artist, I learned the skill of makeup. I understood what the Nigerian women didn't have in other brands. I took that information, consulted with the people who are producing in China and said, this is what I want, this is what I want. Packaging. Nigerian women are glamorous. This is the color of packaging that I want. This is what I want. This is the names that I want my products to be called. Because I also know our language. I know that when I say Queen Amina to someone, they know who Queen Amina is, that the woman that built the walls of Zaria. If I say who Madame Tinubu is, you know because you did social studies and you can relate with my product. That is what I'm selling to you. I'm selling not only the Tara knowledge in terms of makeup, but I'm also selling to you the desire to promote our Nigerian culture.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
What do I like? I like what I do. I like going on holiday with my family. And I like my car. I like gadgets. And I like my bank.
If your bank were us, you would like us too. Since 1894, we have built a strong and stable financial institution based on insightful local know-how, global reach, and a commitment to deliver to you world-class innovative solutions. First Bank, truly the first.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
For every successful business to grow, you have to cultivate a habit to be able to roll back your interest and your profits.
Money makes money. Spending it, unless in a wise area, brings more money. But spending it lavishly, you are walking on the path to ruin.
I think you should always pump money back into the thing that brought the profit in the first place. Of course, take time out to reward yourself, but never kill the goose that lays the egg.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.